It's another musical March in September, people, and this year we're spotlighting a handful of the forgotten 1960s band movies. Why? Why not? I'm talking that era of films riding that high after the Beatles' Hard Day's Night, and obviously the cinematic masterpiece Blast Off Girls, where the faded blue faced off against that classic villain Bougie Baker. Sure, we all may remember Help, where a strange cult was desperate to capture the ring of Ringo Starr, but what about the ones that time forgot? They must be unearthed too, as this genre is more or less made to be a time capsule. That's where we come to the 1968 Hermits film, Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, named after the hit song from their 1965 album. It's a movie where the boys inherit a greyhound and use the dog to win the Derby in London, because as the poster says, London is for the birds, which must be why it's about a dog. This was the second film from Herman's Hermits after the 1966 movie Hold On, but this one has the better title and the sillier plot, so I'm picking this. They also made an appearance in the 1965 movie where the boys meet the girls. That one's worth it because they sing Listen People, my favorite Herman's Hermits song. Originally directed by Morton DaCosta of The Music Man, he was replaced by Saul Swimmer, who would later go on to direct some Queen concert films, and it was written by Norman Thaddeus Vane, the writer and director of the 1983 horror film Frightmare. It's a good thing the movie opens up by telling us it's in Manchester, England, because I thought for sure it may have been Springfield from The Simpsons. I mean, it's kind of about Santa's Little Helper. But with cinematography clearly by Charlie and Willy Wonka flying around in an elevator. Not to mention, the dog in the movie has a kickin' voice.
It's nice to be out in the morning.
Music clearly by the Trogs. So far, all you gotta know about the characters is Keith plays Keith, Derek is Derek, Carl is Carl, Barry is Barry, and Peter Noon is Herman. He had to be named Herman. It'd be confusing if he was called Peter. This movie gets right to it. They already have the greyhound and are on their way to the races. Personally, though, I think the movie would be a lot better if the dog talked and solved crimes. It'd be better than this, at least.
Glad it rained last night.
Yeah, she likes it wet.
The hell does that mean?
Hey, she took that turn like a real champion.
Gosh, she's on form.
Don't bang the dog. Good job, boys. The dog won, but you owe us another stuffed rabbit. I have a hunch that whoever came up with this plot was inspired by their severe dog track gambling addiction. Mainly, I'm curious to find out what any of this will have to do with someone named Mrs. Brown having a lovely daughter. Herman and the dog live like kings. At least the dog does. She has her own grill outside of her house. But just in case you need to sound the alarm for the British invasion...
You're not Britain, you're Manchester.
He pulled the Hermits song montage lever. So far, the music montages served this movie way more than 365 days. 1, it's Hermits, so the music is good. And 2, it kind of forwards the plot. He has to go to work, so he's got to have breakfast, get dressed, and ride through the city to go to work at, where does he work?
In advertising house this morning, 2 young lads sit before me.
Okay, Christmas movie villain. Herman works in advertising and is competing for a promotion to be a junior assistant account executive. Bitchin'! I'm sure Peter Noon will get it. He's the handsome one, while the smug guy is gonna his way through the interview. Let's hope none of them fall asleep.
Up to now, you've both been clerks dealing with facts and figures. What are we in advertising house? Do we manufacture?
Rock and roll, bro! I'm not sure if there's ever been a genre of movie that used fast motion more than rock and roll movies. By the way, I have no idea what's going on. Someone's a hairstylist now?
A beautiful shade of raspberry blonde.
Oh, you'll look fine. Just become a cartoon character. And now they're moving soda bottles for the Shenanigans Soda Company. This is definitely the kind of movie where something embarrassing will happen and a character will go like this. The Hermits will never serve Henry VIII being this clumsy. Anyway, they're a company that wants to sell pink hats, which takes the biggest computer in Manchester. Even if Herman doesn't get the job, James Bond will instantly take down this company once he escapes the dungeon. Evil boss insists on Herman conforming for the greater good, but he says no, there must be more shenanigans.
Frankly, Tully, I don't.
I don't know why that happened, it just did. I love that the next scene, they're like, oh right, we should probably give some backstory here. So, okay, Herman's grandfather died and left him the greyhound, and now they're broke from dog food and vet bills. And with Herman failing at getting that promotion, they need to raise the money by starting a band. But after washing up for dinner, of course.
You didn't get promotion, did you?
Why is this a downer? This movie needs a hard scotch before dinner time. Thankfully, the neighbor girl Tulip comes in to brighten the room. They have a very Pee-wee and Dottie type relationship.
Don't rush me. I'm savouring it.
I bought it specially for you.
Yeah, but it's pink. It'll look better on Swassard.
She was an unidentified flying oddball. He doesn't know how to break it to her that he hasn't seen it. Also, Grandma beats them.
I'm not going to any bleeding old folks' HOME!
And what the hell does the title have to do with any of this?
And who's going to pay for this cottage by the sea?
You're not.
Mrs. Brown's gonna pay for it, isn't she?
What? Mrs. Brown is a dog? Is the song Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter about dogs? That's news to Tom Courtenay, who sang the original version in The Lads. If that's the case, what the hell does the lyric "she wants to return those things I bought her" mean? Did he buy her a bunch of bones? Whatever, so it's the first day of dog training. She's obviously taking a dump on all the graves she hates and urinating on the homeless man, Percy. Why, do we have a new character now?
Wouldn't spare 5 shillings for a cup of hot toddy, could you? I find it keeps out the cold.
I couldn't even afford a pint of bitter for myself.
This movie isn't British enough. The family doesn't seem so broke. They have a whole buffet for dinner. And they can feed Percy. Plus the dog is the title character, so she has the biggest bowl. And then band practice.
Down at Holiday Inn.
Your Holiday Inn looks like a junkyard. It's a 60s rock band movie. Obviously, we need to splice in footage of people playing, standing, and walking. Why? We just do. Sure, none of them are at the Holiday Inn, and not only that, I'm not entirely sure he's playing that violin in the scene. Other than that, seems like a great rehearsal.
Okay, what's next? No, that's it. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go and eat.
We've run out of people walking stock footage, and really we're just playing along with the radio in the corner anyway. Let's go get drunk. There's more tomfoolery we can cut to, like Tulip telling who she thinks is Herman to take off his clothes so she can wash them. But what? She's talking to Percy! There's no reason to be scared. It's important he's here. This is very close to being a Herman's Hermits Beatles crossover. Percy is played by Lance Percival. He voiced Paul and Ringo on the 60s Beatles animated series. Can't you tell by his singing voice?
Oh, one day the group may poop you.
I appreciate the movie waiting this long for a dog reaction shot. And to get the dog weighed in for the perfect shit joke.
What is that peculiar smell?
Think of how many times the band would step in dog shit if the movie were made today. Our boys can't lose this one. Look at the name of the dog they bet on.
She's the fastest.
Thank God the way for the producer to get out of his gambling debts was to write it into the script that his dog wins.
She's done it again, love.
I'm sorry, are all of Herman's Hermits songs about dogs now? Was Leaning on a Lamppost about taking a piss? We'll be right back. This montage is switching things up a bit by doing slow motion instead of fast motion.
Now I'm Grandpa, and I take county fair potato bread 'cause it's flavory.
No matter who you are, nobody gives you as much. The county fair, baked with care.
Now that we're back, I don't know if stuffy advertising boss is coming back, so we need someone else not trustworthy.
Hello, 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 my lucky lads.
Please, come in, British Howard Cosell. This is G.G. Brown, because I guess that's every other person's last name in this. He's played by Stanley Holloway, telling the boys rollicking stories of playing Alfred Doolittle in My Fair Lady. Oh, I guess this is the human Mrs. Brown, so it's not a song about a dog.
Hello. Hello. Which one is this then, your wife or your daughter?
Ooh, foreshadowing. And there is Judy Brown, the lovely daughter of Mrs. Brown. Okay, it's all making sense. I can watch Mrs. Brown's Boys now. Although it was much funnier when I thought that all of their songs were about dogs. I'm Into Something Good is about a dog whose head is stuck in a bag of jerky. In fact, why does this even need to be about dogs? Shouldn't it be about Herman in love with a model or something?
You know, sometimes I wonder if I own Mrs. Brown or whether she owns me.
That's just the way I feel about modeling.
Mrs. Brown, you've got a conceited daughter. Although there is one reason I'm glad it's about dogs. I wish to God this movie was called Herman's Bitches. With the instrumental version of There's a Kind of Hush playing, that means everyone is getting ready to bang in the street. Not Herman, though. It's awkward enough when Grandma comes in to say goodnight, and he's trying to sleep naked. He's clearly in love with Judy. How else do you explain his montage dreams? Because much like Fast Motion, every movie like this needs a montage of the love interest dissolved or superimposed into the background. Plus,
there's a kind of hush.
The awesome soundtrack featuring one of their biggest hits. Oh, and I like the random shots where it has to remind you the dog is in the movie. Remember when this used to be about me? Never mind that, it's post-apocalyptic now. Who on earth is to blame for this?
My old man don't earn much.
Of course, British Hitler. Anyway, they're in a bar now, drunk and raising money. You know, I would be quick to say this movie isn't really about anything if it wasn't only 1 week after I watched the next 365 days. Sure, grab all the ass you want. Hell, look directly into the camera, too. At least things are happening here.
Oh, come off it. You had the at last.
See, there's a bar fight. Why is there a bar fight? Something about subpar donations or something, I don't know. But this never would have happened if they booked those nice Everly Brothers boys. Quick, settle down the crowd with more stock footage. Oh, right, this movie isn't taking place in Jacksonville, Illinois. Got it. I feel bad that there's some scenes where I had to ask myself, okay, which girl is standing with him? Is that Tulip or Judy Brown? Okay, they're ignoring her, so it must be Tulip. And in case you didn't think this was the kind of movie to have this establishing shot. Truly, this was the oh heavenly dog of its time. And then it gets weird.
Hey, where'd you get her from?
She followed me.
Why are they being followed by an obvious drug-hazed young girl who will probably eat the boys as soon as they fall asleep? And what does this mean? Also, he'll give her a shave and a haircut. I don't know why. The boys are in London for the Derby and looking for a place to stay. I'm surprised this isn't shown to us in a montage. Don't worry, they find a place to crash. It looks too good to be true. Wait, it is a fire station, but they aren't firemen. I'm also very surprised there isn't montage music playing in this sequence either. It'd be the best spot to put their song Something's Happening. Come on, boys, we'll walk the rest of the way. Dude, is your dog okay? At least this was back when a movie like this would be well shot. If this were made decades later, it'd probably look like a TV movie on the Disney Channel. But here, this movie about Herman's Hermits and a dog is shot by Jack Hildyard, who won a Best Cinematography Oscar for Bridge Over the River Kwai. As for what's going on, Percy just happens to be there. It's not hard to find the boys. Some of them are dressed like the curtains I put up for Halloween. He'll get them a place to stay where they aren't woken up by fire alarms. Ah, perfect. Is this the Holiday Inn they were singing about? This is excellent. There's free barrels of fire under every pillow, and of course, a lounge. Herman's Hermits opening band isn't the best. But enough about that. They need to get a job. Excellent. We need someone to stack cauliflower and put boxes on your head. And no shenanigans. Because clearly only the boss can make people shitty at their jobs, and...
Lemon and lime, a 10 at a time.
This seems like an annoying place to work. It is a little weird that before it was a musical in the sense that the band practices some songs and some of their hits play in montages, but now suddenly, over halfway through, it's a musical where characters break out into singing. Fellas, you still got 8 hours of your shift left. You're gonna get really tired. Also, your singing is gonna cause a riot. And be awfully careful with that fruit.
Oh. Hey, Mr. Brown. The other boys are coming down to the cottage.
Yeah, great.
Will you come?
Yeah.
Good.
Damn, they're spilling the fruit, which is causing very obvious 80-yard lines. It feels like there's a lot happening in the movie, but still not much. Sometimes it's about Percy the homeless man, sometimes it's about Mrs. Brown's lovely daughter, sometimes it's about dog racing, and it's all stuff that just kinda happens. Like how the movie starts with dog racing, till later they're like, oh right, here's where we got the dog anyway. Look at this scene where they go to a cottage.
It was built by Lord somebody or other in either the 12th or 15th or...
I mean, you know, something or other. Whatever. The band just smiles their way through it. Here's a part where they're given absolutely no lines and are just trying not to laugh in the background. But really, for the most part, the acting is fine. Even Sarah Caldwell, who at one point was married to the screenwriter, and this was her only acting credit. Peter Noone is actually pretty good in the movie. You can see how he went on to have not a huge acting career, but he acted in a handful of stuff after. Hell, this is the same year he played Pinocchio, which, I kinda need to see this. The rest of the band, you can tell they're not actors, but they're serviceable. Their line readings aren't so bad I'm laughing at it. The Hermits movies are roughly the only time they acted in something, but Keith Hopwood did go on to compose a lot of children's programming, like the Bob the Builder theme. But meanwhile, at Z-Man's Party from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, the movie doesn't have a main villain. It's just a collection of assholes who show up every now and then, like this guy.
Why are you always trying to put everyone down?
Now listen, Jude. You're degrading yourself and humiliating me.
Okay, I like that Herman is like, oh, you two carry on now, until he sees him feeding the dog.
Grow lovely.
She's sick, you're gonna be sick.
Scream at Judy all you want, but don't you dare touch the dog. And that was that scene. Okay, I've lost all my bets so far on these dog racing scenes, but this one is a lock. It's such an important scene that Herman isn't even watching. But he'll know if the dog wins.
Mrs. Brown. Oh, she's done it again.
See, the soundtrack means Mrs. Brown has won. We'll take another break as the boys look over their photos from Vietnam.
Uh-oh. Ketchup.
Oh! I wish somebody would invent a ketchup bottle that squirts where you aim it.
Hurry. Get new Bounty. It absorbs like magic.
Now that we're back, we can continue on with this very focused story. Your guess is as good as mine as to what's happening. Oh, she's doing a Queen of Egypt photo shoot, obviously. And I guess the asshole guy is the photographer. The hell magazine is this for?
You look more like the cover of Mad Magazine instead of Teenage Bride.
Oh, Teenage Bride. Okay. Wait, what? I guess I won't think too hard about what that magazine is. He's talking about his big show coming up, but then this cut happens.
Give me the other camera, will you? The Hasselblad.
As you can see, she's thrilled to be a teenage bride. And what the hell happened to the Tulip character? Oh, never mind. Characters just come and go in this, or they take a little break for a while. Even the dog doesn't feel like much of a character, and the dog is in the scene. Wait, she's leaving town for a photo shoot? But I hate goodbyes.
If I never see you again, have yourself a jolly nice time.
Herman, you have yourself a jolly nice time, too.
Well, that was awkward. Oh no, what's happening? Oh, not again. There's 20 minutes of the movie left. We gotta throw something in here. Like a dog is now missing plot line. At least finally something with some urgency happens. I kinda wish the whole movie had just been about the band looking for their missing dog. Or at least Herman is looking for the dog. The Hermits are just sitting around playing cards. They're really not much of a character in this either. But they're here to provide the rocking soundtrack to play over the scene where Herman is running around looking for the dog. I'm more so interested in what's happening here. Everyone is freaking the hell out, and the dead are coming back to life. It's like the late 60s started 3/4 of the way into filming. Hell, the band even has to be reminded what's going on.
He obviously thinks looking for a dog is more important than looking for a career.
Looking for the dog?
Whoa, what? That sounds way more interesting. Come on, fellas. I still don't really know what's happening. Did they give up looking for the dog? Are they going home? Here, boys, sleep in front of this rear projector. That'll get you home sooner. There's plenty more jobs at home that can get slapsticky. You'll never be a member of the village people with that kind of work ethic. Okay, seriously, what happened to the dog? That would be something if they just never go back to it. Here's a photo shoot of Judy. There's no start to the scene, nor is there an end. It just happens. Then Tulip comes back into it.
Everyone wants Herman, but he doesn't seem to want anybody anymore.
Oh, that's sad, love. Fancy a fish? Shockingly, that's not the end of the scene.
The world is for the young.
Hey, movie, your dog is still missing. Stop with the singing.
Searching through some papers one day, a sweet scent filled the air.
No, goddammit, I didn't mean just simply move locations. Wait, she was also in My Fair Lady. Did I just switch movies? Even the editing is weird. Is he thinking about teenagers at the beach while she's thinking about JFK's British cousin? What is happening? I'm gonna need whatever the hell drug they're taking. But now Herman can go back to his true love, Tulip.
I've never seen you in a dress before. Ta-ra then.
There's a kind of hush indeed. I am actually concerned if the dog will come back. This is like watching a Lassie movie where Lassie gets lost and the characters just go about their day. And then this happens, again, randomly.
Mrs. Brown, I don't believe it.
Yep, found her. All good. Mrs. Brown had a time in London.
Considering she's put on a bit of weight in London on her own.
Gloria, we're going to have a baby.
Oh great, now we gotta make the dog a teenage bride. However, I feel very vindicated in my original assumption that the movie's title was referring to dogs, because this is how the song comes in.
Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter.
Ah, good, it's the same universe as Elvis singing Hound Dog to a Hound Dog. But then they realize these lyrics make no sense when singing to a puppy, so the song just ends a minute into it, and they show more of Judy's photo shoot. Obviously, the real love story is again Herman and Tulip.
Well, I thought if you do go back to London, I might come with you for a bit.
Well, you'll have to cook and clean for 5 blokes if you do.
Well, I don't mind.
You say that, but we shit on the floor more than the dog. There's only 3 minutes left. We have to wrap this up quick. Pawn the puppy off to Gigi Brown. We can't afford 2 dogs. And look, Judy has another magazine cover, which also says, Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter. No one who looks at this is gonna know the context to any of that. By the way, they do let the song finish. They have to, because that's the end of the movie. You know, some films are time capsules, but they definitely still work for their intended goal and are still fun, or maybe the writing's good, or if it's extremely campy. Then there's something like this where really it's just a time capsule and that's all. There's a lot of plots in it, and it never really commits to any of them, so it just feels like a random assortment of scenes. It aggressively knows it's just about the songs, and nothing else really matters. It was a little difficult to take notes on it, which shouldn't be the case for a movie about a band and their dog. But none of it was so bad that it was unintentionally funny, yet it wasn't good enough to point to a lot that works. It's just a case of it is what it is, and it's pretty mediocre at it. But I love Herman's Hermits, so the music is good, of course, though naturally I will stick with the Naked Gun, thank you very much. And stay tuned next week because it'll be the Dave Clark 5 in Catch Us If You Can. Will it be about a group of stray dogs? We'll see.
Where do these people find this rubbish?